Hey everyone, what an honor to be invited back to speak at this year's ZenMade Summit. If we haven't met before, my name is Eric Emms, and I've been in the residential cleaning industry for a little over a decade now. I'm the CEO of Rise and Shine Cleaning Service, and we're in Portland, Oregon, which I co-founded with my wife, Debbie. We've built our business into a profitable, freedom-based, seven-figure maid service that we're able to manage from anywhere in the world. But trust me, it wasn't always that way. In the early years, I was doing what so many of us do, grinding nonstop, feeling like I had to say yes to everybody and completely guessing at our pricing. We were book solid, but still not hitting our profit goals. I was constantly second-guessing myself, afraid to raise my rates, and just wondering, what am I missing? For us, that all changed when we joined Cleaning Business Fundamentals, and CBF, it gave us the blueprint, proven strategies and standardized systems, and they helped us take control of our pricing, understand our numbers, and build a business that runs with clarity, confidence, and purpose. And that was what was most important for us, is finding our purpose. And now, having a freedom-based business, it allows me to serve others as a senior coach for CBF. And I get to help others build the business of their dreams. I'm passionate about helping other cleaning business owners because I get it. I know what it feels like to be maxed out, overwhelmed, and working harder than ever, yet still not seeing the profit or the freedom that you dreamt of. Look, this talk is for you if you're a growth-minded cleaning business owner who's still guessing at your pricing strategy. Or maybe you're afraid to raise your rates, but you know something needs to change. I love to help people unlock more time, more profit, and more control by aligning their pricing with their capacity and their value, not what the competition is doing or what they think that the local market might bear. I'm going to teach you how to use dynamic pricing and your production rates to work smarter, raise your profits, and take back your time. Stick around until the end of the talk. I've got a free, easy-to-use capacity tracker, and it's going to help you take the guesswork out of your pricing and start making data-driven decisions with confidence and ease. Now, let's get into this. Let me ask you something. You ever find yourself in a position where your schedule is just maxed out? Your technicians are working their tails off, leads are flowing in, but you have nowhere to put these clients. You're booking them 3 weeks out if you're lucky, or you're putting them on a wait list. Or the other side of that coin, you just got a bunch of new technicians and their schedules are wide open, but maybe your leads slowed down a little bit, or for whatever reason, you're just not converting. And it's just crickets, and it can be maddening. And you're going through all this work, but still there's no profits. It leaves you no time to breathe, no time to scale. That's where dynamic pricing comes in. Think of dynamic pricing as a lever to control the speed, the flow of your business. During times when my schedule is totally packed and maybe I'm short staffed and I can't bring on anymore, I'm going to raise my prices. That slows down the speed of business. There's less clients who are willing to pay my new higher price, so it slows down a little bit. On the other side, if I have a bunch of openings and I lower my prices, it starts to speed up the flow of my business. So I can use dynamic pricing as a lever to control that speed. Why should I use capacity pricing as my pricing strategy? And what even is capacity? In our world, in the cleaning industry, your capacity equals the revenue that your current team can realistically produce in a week. Whether you're a solo cleaner by yourself, or you have a team of 3, or you have a team of 50, you still have a capacity. There's only so much that I can do in a week. And so how do I come up with that number? Well, at Rise and Shine Cleaning, we like to use a 6-month average. And the reason that I do that is I don't want to look at my busiest time of the year, and I don't want to look at my slowest time of the year. I want to use a time period where it captures the ebb and flow. So we'll look at a 6-month time period, and I want to look at how much revenue, total revenue, did we bring in during those 6 months. Then I want to look at that same time period, and I want to figure out how many technicians did I have, again, on average, over that same time period. Now, again, maybe during those 6 months, I had 10 technicians for a minute, and then I had 7, and then I had 9, and then I had 12. I want the average. So I'm going to come up with the revenue, total revenue, average number of technicians. I'm going to divide the technicians by the revenue, and that's going to tell me how much each technician did in that 6-month period. Then I need to divide that by 6 so I can get it into a monthly number. Now I know, okay, each one of these technicians did this much revenue over a month, and then I'm going to divide it again by 4, and now I have a weekly capacity number. Again, for my average technicians, right? That number, since we looked at a time period, I had really good techs, not so good techs, newer techs, some part-time techs, right? I want to capture everybody. I don't want just my best. I don't want my worst. I want the average. So your weekly capacity equals the average monthly revenue divided by the number of techs, divided by 4 to get a weekly number. And this is going to become your pricing compass. Now, when I talk about dynamic pricing and that we do this in our business, inevitably I get back some version of that won't work in my area, or you can't do that in a service business. And I always push back a little bit. Look around. We live in a world full of dynamic pricing. Airlines use it. Hotels use it. Uber uses it. If I call an Uber right now and it's in peak time, I'm going to pay way more than if I get that same Uber at an off-peak time. Dynamic pricing. It's based on supply and demand. And I believe that cleaning businesses can and should be doing the same thing. And when we do that, you're in control when your pricing is responsive to the supply and demand that's going on in your area. So how do you know whether you're full or not? We need to start tracking our actual or our booked revenue versus our capacity. Now, again, I'm just sharing with you what we do at Rise and Shine Cleaning Service. And there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either be forward thinking and look and see how much revenue do I have booked for the upcoming week, or you can use it as a lag indicator and look at the actual revenue you brought in over the past week. And at Rise and Shine, we use it as a lag indicator. It's easier in our business. That's how I like to do it, but you can do it either way. And so when the revenue is above your capacity threshold, which we're going to go over in a minute, then you raise your prices. And that slows down your booking rate, but also maxes out your profit. It maximizes your profit. And then when your revenue falls below your capacity threshold, you're going to lower your prices, and that'll help to speed it up and fill your schedule. So let's take a look at it. We're going to track our capacity weekly. We're going to set our own thresholds. And then we're going to start basing our pricing on current demand in our area. And we'll get into this a little bit more when I share the tracker here in a second, but it's very important that you use protocols that work for you. And so this is the tool that we use. And here's the rules that I was talking about up here. I have it highlighted in red. And again, this is what we do at Rise and Shine Cleaning Service. It's very, very important that you set thresholds and protocols that work for your business. For us right now, next week, it looks like we're going to raise our first-time cleaning rates to $105 for first-time cleans, $105 an hour. And we're going to raise our recurring rates to $90 an hour. We've had those as high as $95, $105 for first-time cleans is the highest that we've ever had. But we do that based on these rules, these thresholds, and these protocols. Again, you have to do what works for you. For us, 85% capacity is our sweet spot. My wife is my business partner, and that's what she likes. She feels comfortable at 85%. At 85%, that leaves you a little bit of wiggle room. If technician calls in sick, you have enough room in your schedule that you can probably put those clients with another technician. They're not losing the revenue. Or if you unexpectedly have a technician quit, that leaves you room in your schedule to where your other techs can absorb those clients. For us, 85% of capacity is our sweet spot. That's where we'd like to stay. If we're above that, we're going to raise our rates, slows it down a little bit. If we're below 75%, then we're going to lower our rates, speed it up a little bit. Let's take a look at this. What does it look like? So in Cleaning Business Fundamentals, I host a monthly men's group. And in that group, we had 12 guys that were all cleaning business owners. And so I like to use average numbers. I want to use real numbers. And in that group, the average number of technicians that everybody had, they're just small businesses, medium businesses, and big business, but the average was 9 technicians. We built this out for 9. And the average revenue per technician was $1,450 a week. And so again, does that mean you can't do more than $13,050 a week? No, it doesn't. But it means on average, that's about what you can do. And so that's what we're going to track. And so if we look at this here, the goal is whatever your average revenue per tech is. It's $1,450, $13,050 a week. Then I'm going to put in the booked whatever they did that week. Or if I'm looking at it forward, I'm going to look whatever's scheduled that week. Now keep in mind, if you're going to do forward looking and looking at what's scheduled, then you're also going to have to track skips, people that cancel for the week, whatever. You're going to have to track and account all that. And that's one of the reasons I use it as a lag indicator and I look at what we actually did. But I'm going to put these numbers in. And you can see that for this week, we were at 90% capacity. Now, again, this is why I can't emphasize this enough. You have to come up with protocols that work for you. But you can see for us, we don't do anything unless it happens 2 weeks in a row. If this is 90%, but this week was 80%, we're not going to do anything. But in my example here, you can see that this week was 90 and this week was 100. So we're going to raise our rates starting the next Monday, $5. If it's below the threshold, we're going to lower our rates. Slow it down, speed it up, slow it down, speed it up. Many times, no matter what you do, you'll find I raise my rates, I'm still above my threshold. Raise my rates, I'm still above my threshold. You just keep raising your rates. And that's how we got to where we are right now at $105 per hour. So we're just going to do this every week. And now we're starting to make our pricing decisions based on these numbers. We're going to track it weekly, set your own thresholds, and now we're making informed pricing decisions. So there's something kind of sneaky that factors into all of this. And I found over time that a lot of us cleaning business owners, we don't really think about production rate. But production rate is kind of the engine behind capacity. So what is production rate? Well, your production rate is how efficiently your team is cleaning. And it's pretty simple to figure out. You take the total square footage of a home divided by the time it takes to clean the job, and that's your production rate. And so out of the men's group, the average production rate was 700 square feet per hour for a biweekly home. I have clients that have production rates as low as 450, and I've seen them as high as 1,000 square feet per hour. At Rise and Shine, we do 1,000 square feet per hour for weekly homes, 900 for biweekly, 700 for monthly, and 300 to 400 for first-time cleans, top to bottoms. And so the lower your production rate is, then the lower your capacity is. So think about it like this. If we're each cleaning business owners and we each have 4 cleaning technicians, and on a biweekly home, your team just does a bang up job and they're in there with toothbrushes and they're really over cleaning. I mean, they clean the heck out of that, but they're only cleaning 450 square feet an hour on a biweekly home. And my team is cleaning 900 square feet an hour for a biweekly home. My capacity is double your capacity with the same number of cleaning technicians. So you can see if your production rate is really low, as you start to scale and add technicians and you go from 4 techs to 8 techs to 12 techs to 20 techs, you have 20 technicians and I'm getting the same capacity out of 10. And so this is something that we really need to focus on. And so you have to set the expectation. This is what we clean per hour. You have to track it. And then if it's somewhere that you're struggling, you have to improve it. Most of my clients and at Rise and Shine, we use the speed cleaning method, which I think really has been proven to be the most efficient cleaning method that there is, but ultimately you just need to have a standardized cleaning system so all of your team is cleaning the same way every time, every home, that is efficient and allows you to get to be more productive. What does this look like as an example? Okay, so again, these are average numbers from 12 different cleaning businesses of how many leads come in a week, conversion percentage, and all of that. If I just did this for 1 week and I got 34 quote requests and I converted 13 of them and they were 2.5-hour cleans, but I raised my rate $5. Just that week, the added profit from doing that is $162 and some change. In a month, that's $650, and in a year, that's $7,800. That's $7,800 just from 13 conversions, and that's just from 1 week. So think of what happens as we scale this, right? Think of what happens if I did this every week or multiple weeks, or I keep raising my rates. And now it's not 13 conversions, it's 26, and it's 100, and it's 200, and it's 400 conversions. The profit is going up incrementally over time and it explodes. So keep it simple. Here's your 4-step launch plan. First, you need to calculate your average revenue per technician. Then you need to measure your production rate. Because look, if I can increase my capacity based on the same team I have, right? If I'm the cleaning business that's doing 450 square feet an hour and I'm thinking, I need to hire more techs, I can get the same, I can max their capacity out by just improving the efficiencies of the existing technicians that I have. So start there. Measure your production rate, improve it if you need to be, focus on it. We're going to track our weekly capacity using my revenue per technician and my current staffing. And then I'm going to adjust the pricing on all new incoming quotes. Again, this has nothing to do with your existing clientele. This is just for your new incoming clients. And I'm going to adjust the pricing based on my capacity thresholds. Some things to keep in mind. Make more, do less, work smarter. Busy does not equal profitable. We live in a society that wants to be busy, busy, busy. Go, 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 do, 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 busy little bees. Being more busy does not necessarily mean being more profitable. Our pricing should follow our capacity, right? Facts, not feelings. Don't base your pricing off emotions. Small changes equal big results over time. Take back control over your schedule. Take control over your profits. And here's the free capacity tracker that we use at Rise and Shine. Again, it's nothing fancy, but it'll get you started. And it's the same one that we use to get our pricing to $105 an hour for first-time cleans. Scan the QR code and let me know how it goes. Start using it to make confident pricing decisions, and then feel free to hit me up with any questions, or after you've used it for a month, let me know how it's going for you. I'd love to hear. Be well.